I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you are a subscriber. As always, it's really lovely to have you here as I share my sewing journey. So today's video is going to be my unboxing of the Sew Hayley Jane box, which I've got here. So mine arrived, was it yesterday or the day before? A couple of days ago, I think it was. I have opened it and I've had a little look inside, not properly at the fabric, but I had a little look just so that I can start thinking about what patterns I would like to sew up using the fabric. What I used to do was do an unboxing on camera, but what I've decided I'm going to start doing moving forward, so I can give you a bit more of my sort of pattern suggestions to go with the fabric, is I'm going to open it first, have a look at what the fabric is, and then come up with a list of patterns that might work really well with the fabric, and that's what I've done today. Before I get started with the Sew Hayley Jane box, I thought I'd let you know what I'm wearing, and this is quite an old make for me. I think I made this over a year ago, and it's made using a pattern from the Make It Simple book by Tilly and the Buttons. And I used the Tabitha t-shirt drawstring dress pattern, which you can see the lovely Samantha wearing here. It's got 3/4 length sleeves, as you can see, and then if I stand up you'll be able to see there's like a drawstring casing around the middle area, and then you've got this very straight skirt that is sort of attached, and then the drawstring sort of brings it in the middle. You've got the neckband like you would expect with the t-shirt pattern, so I'll stand up so you can see what it looks like, but I'll also put in pictures of what I look like wearing this dress so you can see as well. So yeah, I've got the drawstring there and that just pulls it in. This is a viscose jersey that I used with all these gorgeous colours all over it, and then I've got it on with tights because it's quite chilly today, so I've just got some sort of mustard coloured tights which bring out this colour in the pattern, and it goes beyond my knee, so it stops about here, sort of mid-calf, and then that's what it looks like at the back with the drawstring as well. So that's what I'm wearing. Now on to what has arrived in this month's box. So I subscribe to the classic box, which is £35 a month, and within that you get 2.5 metres of fabric, 4 fat quarters, there's a magazine, there's always a sweet treat, you get some Gutterman thread, and then there's usually a haberdashery item or a little sewing gift. You can also get a mini box. So the mini box comes with 1 metre of fabric, 3 fat quarters, and all the other bits and bobs. So you get the Gutterman thread, the sweet treat, and the little sewing gift. And then there's a luxury box, which is £65 a month, and within that you get 3.5 metres of fabric, 5 fat quarters, and then you also get a pattern included, as well as all the other things that I've mentioned for the other boxes. It is a monthly subscription, but you can cancel. So if you get your first box and you decide for whatever reason you don't want to continue that, you can just cancel your subscription. I really love getting my boxes. It feels like a lovely little treat to myself, and this year I'm on a bit of a fabric ban, so it's really nice still getting this little bit of fabric every month, and I really love thinking about what I would turn the fabric into. Sometimes it's a fabric that I know I would definitely buy from the shops, and then sometimes I get a fabric and I think, oh, I don't know if I would have picked that fabric up, but then I really enjoy turning it into something. And I think the fabric that's arrived in this month's box is a fabric that I wouldn't necessarily have chosen for myself, and I'll talk about that when I share the fabric. So on to the box. It always comes in this lovely cardboard box, and you've got the Sew Hayley Jane sticker. And then inside it's always wrapped up in beautiful tissue paper, so you can see I've been very careful. I haven't opened the tissue paper yet, I just had a little sneaky peek, and then I also pulled out the magazine, because the magazine introduction from Sew Hayley Jane always lets you know what the fabric is in the classic box, the mini box, and also the luxury box. So this month's theme is Out of This World, January 2022, so you can see lots of stars. Lovely little welcome from Hayley. So Hayley starts off by saying, Happy New Year, welcome to the first box of 2022, ready to kickstart your new sewing plans and get back in the swing of things. After a Christmas break, she's always more than ready to settle back into a routine, and her big resolution isn't to make complicated garments or to even sew all of the things, it's just to find a little bit of time as often as possible to enjoy her hobby. So my resolutions this year are definitely to tackle my fabric stash, and my fabric stash here and my pattern stash up here. There's a couple of patterns that I bought ages ago that I just haven't sewn up, so I'm really looking forward to diving in and trying those patterns. I'm going to continue carving out time for myself weekly to sew, because I know it's really good for my mental health and well-being, and it also encourages me to switch off from work. So my My day job can be quite stressful and the hours are quite long too. So having my hobby of sewing really encourages me to switch off from work and just immerse myself in something that I find incredibly relaxing. I can lose myself in sewing for a good couple of hours, which is great. So the boxes really are out of this world. In the luxury box, there's a stunning cotton jersey with a silver metallic space print. And then within that, the pattern that you get with the luxury box is the Billy pattern. And then the classic and the mini boxes have got either a baby blue or a navy double gauze with a metallic print of lovely little sunshines or lightning bolts to give it an extra special touch. So I'm really excited to see that fabric. I haven't actually looked at the fabric. I just had a peek to see what type of fabric it was. The fat quarters this month are absolutely incredible and inspired the whole box, so I can't wait to see those either. And then there's some inspiration in the magazine, looking at what the lovely ladies have sewn up using the mini, classic and luxury box fabrics, so I can't wait to see those. So in the magazine, we've got an interview with Sew Social Newham. So one of the aims of Sew Hayley Jane is to inspire people to sew and to be part of creating and encouraging the sewing community. So this month, when Hayley found out Sew Social Newham, she caught up with Lauren and Joe, who run it, to find out all about that, and that sounds amazing. So I look forward to reading the interview to find out a little bit more about that. Make of the month is this incredible Hovea jacket by Megan Nielsen, and the top make is from Sam, who is Sam Lizanne on Instagram. I think this is absolutely amazing. So she's used all of the fat quarters to create this incredible jacket. Absolutely love it. It's so inspiring. 3 boxes, 3 makes. We've got Esther, got the mini box double gauze, and she's made the Helen's Closet Gilbert top. Then we've got Gemma, who had the luxury box, and she's made a Deer and Doe Sirocco jumpsuit, which is absolutely gorgeous. Love that fabric, and that Sirocco jumpsuit just looks fabulous. And then we've got Laura, who has used the double gauze fabric to make the Friday Pattern Company patina blouse, which is lovely. I've seen so many beautiful versions of the patina blouse. Beautiful, with that pointed collar. Absolutely lovely. Fat Quarter Project is a laptop sleeve by the lovely Tamlin. So that's a really great idea for using your fat quarters up. And then Hayley's Little Links. So something on Now TV called And Just Like That. And then I've really been enjoying this podcast actually, the Tipsy Sewist podcast. If you haven't listened to it yet, they've got a couple of episodes. And that's by the lovely Hazel and the Machine and Ellen the Stitches. So I'll link the podcast down below if you haven't heard of it. You want to go and check it out, but it's a really enjoyable listen. And then The Witcher over on Netflix. Then a book recommendation, Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. I've read that book. It's amazing, so I definitely recommend that book. Profile subscriber, Sew Hayley Jane profile subscriber is the lovely Sophie, who is Soph_root. And she's been subscribed to the luxury box for just over a year. She's made some gorgeous things using, love these, the Leo dungarees, and this dress is absolutely beautiful as well. Made some beautiful things, so I look forward to reading all about Sophie. And then we've got pattern picks from the Fold line. So they have picked the Wren blouse and dress by Chalk and Knot, which is this one. Haven't seen that pattern before. Then there's the Ellsworth shirt by Merchant & Mills. I'm loving white shirts at the moment. I saw a picture, I might be able to put it in actually, by Lucy and Yak, their dungarees with these gorgeous pattern dungarees and then a crisp white shirt underneath, and I just absolutely love that look. So I'm really keen to sew up a white shirt. I've just bought the Marie shirt by Byham London, so I'm looking forward to using that, and I think I want to use some crisp white cotton to make myself a lovely shirt that will go with loads of different things I've got in my wardrobe. And then we've got the Agnes pyjama set by Paper Theory, which I absolutely love that pyjama set. It's really lovely. That would work really well for the double gauze. Makers Gallery, the lovely Hayley got in touch to ask if she could use my image of my Deer and Doe Sirocco jumpsuit using the tie-dye jersey fabric. So it's lovely to see myself in the Makers Gallery. So thank you for that, Hayley. We've got the lovely Holly, who is Holes Davies. She has made the Gladys dress from Fibre Mood magazine using some viscose, which is just lovely. I love everything that Holly makes. Then we've got Winter Wonders 81, who has sewn up some gorgeous Christmas clothes for children. Absolutely love that. And then we've got Mossy Makes, who's followed Tamlin's November tutorial to make the yoga mat bag with a matching face covering. as a little gift. That's really lovely and really cute. And then another fat quarter project by Ready Steady Sew. She's made the pocket cushion covers. So Emily's done a sunflower one, which is gorgeous, and a lovely book tucked away in there too. It's always really inspiring to see what everybody's been making with the fabrics. And then in the back, you've got a list of what's in all the different boxes, and then space for you to plan your project too. So let's have a look inside the box. I'm going to open up the tissue paper. Now the fat quarters really are lovely actually. So we have got this gorgeous sort of ombre effect fat quarter. I love all of those colours. And then we've got one that's got moons and stars all over it, which again is really lovely. A lilac one that's got stars. I think that would make some really cute pockets. And then sort of a checked one as well, which is really lovely, and they go so beautifully together. I've got a navy thread, so that gives you a clue about what colourway of double gauze fabric I got. The sweet treat this month is something that I can enjoy because it's some Starburst sweeties, so I look forward to eating those. I'm going to hide those from my girls, otherwise they'll want one each. And then we've got a gorgeous belt buckle from Ethel & Joan. I absolutely love all of the buttons, and I think there's some pin dishes, buckles, and there's some earrings that Ethel & Joan have done too. So if you haven't checked out their shop, everything they do is handmade and they're absolutely gorgeous. And I love this belt buckle. So I have to think about what I can use that for, and what garment would lend itself to a lovely belt buckle. So that's beautiful. And then in here, I'm not sure what we've got in here. Oh, we have got some chalk. It's like Hayley knows when I need some more chalk. I've just run out of my blue chalk that came in a box a few months ago, so I can pop that in my little haberdashery stash. And then onto the beautiful fabric. So navy is a colour that I think really suits me. This dress has got sort of a navy background, so I do really enjoy wearing navy. And I've got the design that's got all the little suns all over it, and they're really, really pretty. So I've got 2.5 meters of this fabric. If I open it up so I can show you, I am going to pre-wash this fabric because I know that double gauze does have a tendency to shrink. So this fabric is going to go in the wash when I'm finished, just on a gentle wash because of that lovely metallic design that's all over it. And I love that little sort of shimmer that you get because it's gold metallic design of the suns. Double gauze is quite a lightweight fabric because of the nature of the fabric. So it's obviously 2 layers of gauze that have been stitched together, and that traps the air between the fabric layers. So it does make it really lightweight, but it also makes it quite a warm and cozy fabric to wear as well. It's got a really lovely amount of movement. It's quite a bouncy fabric, which you would expect to sort of see and feel with a double gauze fabric. So I have been having a little bit of a think. Now, I said right at the beginning that when I read about the fabric that was in the box, I knew that it was a fabric that I wouldn't go and buy myself in the shops, but I do actually really love it. It doesn't feel as bouncy as some double gauze fabrics that I've got, and I'm just looking at my Cocoa plum dress that's hanging up that I've just finished sewing, which has got a really crinkly texture to the fabric and feels more bouncy than this fabric does. This feels a bit more lightweight, even though I know that a double gauze is lightweight. I don't really like sewing with double gauze. So double gauze is a fabric that I'm not a massive fan of. I find it stretches, I find it quite a bulky fabric to wear. But sewing up the plum dress by Cocoa Crafts recently has made me fall back in love with double gauze. So I'm actually really excited about sewing this fabric and turning it into something. I've got a few initial thoughts for what I might sew, and then I've got a couple of suggested patterns because I've been having a little think and a little bit of research about what patterns work really well for double gauze. So possible patterns for me, I was thinking either, it'll come as no surprise if you watch my videos because I love this pattern, but the Anna Allen Anthea blouse, I think this would work really nicely with that gorgeous puff sleeve. So I could use it to sew up that, or I could use it to do the dress of that Anthea pattern, because you can sew it up as a dress as well, because I have got 2.5 meters of fabric. The other thing, or the other option, would be the Cocoa Craft plum dress, because I've just sewn that up and I love it. So I could use this fabric to sew up one of those. The other thing that I was thinking was the Bella Loves Patterns floor dress, which I've made a couple of times. It's got these gorgeous ruffles that come down the front and also go down the back. It's a maxi length dress, and it's got a ruffle all the way along the bottom as well, and it's a wrap dress. I absolutely love the versions that I've sewn up. It's a dress that would have to layer up, but I've got a navy Freya top that would go perfectly underneath this. So I am sort of moving more towards the floor dress, because I think this would work so nicely with those great big ruffles. So those are my thoughts for myself with this fabric. Then there's a couple of other patterns that I thought I'd mention that would work really well with the double gauze, just in case you're looking for some inspiration if you got the double gauze fabric. I'll put pictures in of all of these fabrics, and I'll link them down below as well, so you can go and check them out if you haven't heard of them. But lots of the patterns that I'm going to suggest are quite popular patterns in the sewing community. So the first one was the By Hand London Hannah dress. So that's a wrap dress as well. I've actually got that pattern, but I still need to tweak the fit on me because it was quite gapey, and also the neckline sits quite low. So I'm still tweaking the pattern really for me. So I won't be using this fabric to make the Hannah dress, but that would work perfectly in the double gauze. Then there's the paper cut Kyoto sweater tee, which has got these gorgeous like dropped ruffle sort of shoulders. Absolutely beautiful. I've seen some really gorgeous versions of that, so that would work really well, and I'll put pictures in of what that looks like. I was thinking possibly some kind of shirt like the By Hand London Marie shirt, which is the new pattern that's just been released, so that would work really nicely with the double gauze. The Sew House 7 free range slacks, I've seen those made up in double gauze before, and they would work beautifully for that type of fabric because it's quite a lightweight fabric. That would be a really nice garment to wear in the springtime, early summer when it's just starting to get warm again. I thought this would work really well for the larger dressing gown, which I've just sewn up in a waffle knit for my husband and I. This would be a really lovely cosy dressing gown, so I think that would work beautifully for the double gauze. The Tilly and the Buttons Stevie top and dress, which I know there's been loads of versions sewn up in double gauze, so that would work really well. And then I thought also the Sagebrush Friday Pattern Company Sagebrush top, which I'm sewing up at the moment in a Liberty Tana lawn, that would work really nicely with a double gauze. And then the final pattern, I haven't sewn it up, but I have seen some beautiful versions of this. It's a pattern by Megan Nielsen, and it's the olive dress. It's got a really interesting neckline where you've got like this sort of V that looks almost like it's been cut out, but it's got a piece of fabric behind it. It's a really interesting design, and that's got a really lovely gathered skirt on, which would work really nicely with the double gauze. So I think I'm probably either going to sew up the Coco Wild Crafts plum dress or the Bella Loves floor dress, because I think this would work so beautifully with those great big ruffles, and I think it would really showcase that gorgeous metallic print that's on the fabric too. So that was everything that came in this month's Sew Hayley Jane box. I hope you enjoyed hearing all about it and what my plans are for this gorgeous fabric. Please let me know in the comments below which pattern you would go for, and if you got this fabric, what are you planning to sew up? I always love hearing what everybody else is thinking about doing with their gorgeous fabrics. So thank you, Hayley, for another fantastic box. I really do look forward to getting my boxes each month. It's really exciting. In the description below, I'll also pop a link where you can go and get 10% off your first box if you're tempted to subscribe, and there's a little discount code and there's a link that you can follow to get 10% off your first box. Thank you as always for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, it'd be great if you could hit that subscribe button. I'll be back soon with another video. Take care. Bye.